What's going on YouTube? This is Poji Force. This is my hat. Today is Saturday, December 8th, 2012. So today is our card of the week. Today we are covering a card from the Darkness Civilization, now known as the Purple Cards. Before we get really into card of the week, I want to show you guys something very special. This is a card I've obtained only recently. It's very near and dear to my heart. Deathlagger, Lion of Chaos. Look at that. That's awesome. Deathlagger was a card from the old game. He was the feature monster of Kokujo, who was the rival of Shobu, who was the star of the old Duel Masters cartoon. I love this card. I just love the art. I love the way it looked in the TV show. His flavored text is really badass. He hasn't changed any, but that's kind of what makes him awesome to me. If I had one of my original Deathlagger cards around, I'd show you the difference, but I don't have one around on me. I'm not going to go digging for it, so instead I'm going to show you something else. Deathlagger, Lion of Chaos. I have two of this figure. This is back when Duel Masters was still around. I have two of the Deathlagger figure. He's got a claw attack, and if you push a button on his back, he shoots. I originally had one. I lost the shooter out of it, and it was an incomplete toy, so out of being obsessive, I went and bought another one. And then I found the little bolt from the first toy, so now I have two complete Deathlagger Lion of Chaos. The detail on this figure is really awesome. A little dusty because they don't see as much play, but, you know, really cool toy. Maybe when I hit the 2,000 subscriber milestone, I might give one of these bad boys away. But yeah, that's Deathlagger. I'm trying to see if I can't collect this card. I know it's kind of an expensive card to try to collect. It ain't no Bronze Arm Tribe or whatever, but this is my boy from back in the day. And now moving on into the real card of the week. This is not the card of the week. This is a little shout out to Deathlagger. The real card of the week for this week is Olgate, Knight of Shadow. Now you might be thinking this is a bit of a weird choice. I thought I'd go into something a little different. Olgate, Knight of Shadow is a Shadow Champion, level 6 for 5,000 power. His ability Necrocharge states whenever one of your creatures is banished, untap this creature. Now his flavor text kind of relates to that. His flavor text reads, legends speak of when Olgate led the forces of darkness against the first Prism Blade Enforcers. Olgate won, but at the cost of his entire army. That's the way Olgate works. He has a very interesting strategy that could potentially win you games. It's kind of a risky thing to play, but I kind of like the idea of it myself, and I wouldn't mind trying to build a deck around it. I'm still not sure how I would build it because there's so many cards that could work really well with this effect. His only real flaw is the fact that it all relies on Olgate himself, so he's kind of vulnerable to a lot of major kill and stuff like that. But let's first go into Olgate himself. Now Olgate, whenever one of your creatures dies on your turn, whenever one of your creatures dies, period, he untaps, which means if it's still your turn, he can attack again. Now that might be a bit complicated, but if you're using, say, Slayers, you can attack to banish an enemy creature. Your creature's banished as well, and then he untaps and he can swing again. And what really works for that is that there are certain creatures out there that when they attack, they're banished afterward no matter what. So you swing with Olgate, and then you swing with one of these guys. They die. Olgate untaps. You swing with Olgate again, and then you swing with another one of the little guys that die when they attack. Olgate untaps. Olgate swings again, and you see where I'm going with this? Now, a lot of these creatures that die when they attack are also blockers and really cheap. We've got Gigabulver at 1 mana, 3,000 power. Chimera, whenever he attacks, he dies. So at 3,000 power, he's really strong for just 1 mana. Another card with the same effect is Dream Pirate, 3 for 3 blocker. He can swing Whenever if he swings, he attacks, he dies. And then we have Marrow Ooze, who's a 1-for-1 blocker, can attack, and then when he attacks, he dies. So it's like you swing with Olgate, then you swing with Gigabulver. Gigabulver dies, Olgate untaps. Swing with Olgate again. Swing with Dream Pirate. Dream Pirate dies, Olgate untaps. Swing with Olgate again. Swing with Marrow Ooze. Marrow Ooze dies, Olgate untaps. Swing with Olgate again. So you just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attacks from 4 monsters. It's really amazing stuff. And then we have, as another support, we got Gorging Shadow of Gluttony. He's a little different. He's 3 for 5. Whenever he wins a battle, he's banished. So you can swing over with, it's essentially like a reverse Slayer. So you swing over a guy, they die, he dies, Olgate untaps. So, like I said, Slayers work well. All these guys work well. Cards that work well, also, if you're just doing a mono dark build with this sort of deal, there is a, let me see if I can't dig one out real quick. Wasn't entirely prepared this time. That's not it. Here we go. Scavenging Chimera. Whenever he swings in a mono dark build, he gets to retrieve a creature. So so you swing with these guys and they die, you can swing with him to get one of these guys back into your hand from your discard pile. So that way, if you didn't swing for game somehow with that, with like your 7 attacks, Scavenging Chimera is going to help set you up to do it again. Other cards that do the same thing are Dark Return and what's the name of that spell? Let me pull it out of the binder. As soon as I remember where the binder is. There it is. Dark Return, 2 mana spell. Pick 1 creature, return it to your hand from the discard pile to your hand. And then Return from the Beyond is a 4 mana spell. Shield Blast, pick any creature in your discard pile of a 4 or lower and move it straight to the field. So those are all cards that can help you recycle all of these things. Another great card that does the same thing that I don't have, so I can't show it to you, but it's really good, is I believe it's called Hovercraft Glurgle. He's 3 for 1 Cyberlord, and while he's in play, whenever any of your creatures would be banished, instead of sending them to the discard pile, they go straight back to your hand. So all these guys, when they die and they cause Olgate to untap, if Hovercraft is in play, they return to my hand instead, and I can replay them later. One last card that works really well with Olgate is Stormspark Blast. Stormspark Blast, it clears all of your opponent's defenders out of the way and gives you a clean shot at their shields, so that way the only thing you really have to worry about is shield blasts. And there's a reason why that this is between the good cards and the bad cards, because Stormspark Blast is also a horrible blast to hit when you're swinging with this Olgate combo, because it taps everything and you're left without a response and you have no choice but to pass. Stormspark Blast is really good in the shields for that reason. It's an amazing card and it's going to shut Olgate down. Other cards that can do that, because this is all about Olgate, it's like he avoids the small kill like Bone Blades and Return to the Soil, but he's still hit by the big kill like Terra Pit and Root Trap. These are both staples in their respective civilizations, and most likely your opponent's going to have one or both of these in their deck, which means they might end up in their shield zone. So that's a risk you're taking when you're swinging with this Olgate combo, is that you might hit one of these. Now if this is not forthcoming, your opponent might have blockers that get in your way, because he's only 5,000 power at 6 mana. So we've got Frogzuka, and he used to be called Dianork. Now he's called Keeper of Clouds. Both are 4 for 5,000 blockers, so they get to bump with him. Frogzuka is very commonly played in water. If you play light, I keep calling him Dianork. Keeper of Clouds probably sees play. And if they bump with Olgate, because Olgate has to swing first for this combo to really work beautifully, and they kind of get in the way. Now you could always Comet Missile them, or you can Stormspark Blast them. but if those aren't forthcoming, these guys are going to really aggravate your Old Gate combo. So that's the card in a nutshell. He's for a very aggressive dark build. There's a lot of darkness creatures that complement his ability because they banish themselves. So it's kind of interesting to me. He's not particularly a great card because he's his own glaring weakness, but it's interesting to me how his effect essentially takes the effects of these other cards that are usually considered to be drawbacks and turns them into a strength. Because when they die, he untaps and he gets to swing again, and it earns you another free attack. So if you go back and forth like that, you know, Old Gate can swing 3 to 4 times depending on what you have on the field. Especially since all these cards are really cheap. Gigabolver and Marrow Ooze are only 1 each. Dream Pirate is 3. Gorgon is 3. You know, we got these cards out here. And then there's the Slayers, if you want to like go a little more after their creatures and still let Old Gate attack more than once. There's Grinning Axe, who's 3 for 1 Slayer. There's this new 4 for 2 Slayer that we got. Where is it? I know I just saw it. There we go. Swamp Stenchworm is another Slayer, so if he attacks and then dies, Old Gate gets untapped to attack again. I mean, I really think Old Gate has a lot of potential. He's kind of underappreciated. I mean, Shadow Champions in general don't see a lot of play because most of them aren't that good. He has his weaknesses. If your opponent has any big shield blasts and they get rid of Old Gate, your combo is shut down, which is why you want to run that return. But he's an alright card in my book. I'd be interested to see a deck run him. I would love to see a deck running him win, because I think this is a very interesting combo, and I would love to see something that's a little different from what we normally see get played and do well. So that's Old Gate, Knight of Shadow. Hope you enjoyed. Like, favorite, subscribe. I'm thinking I might do a special 200 subscribers giveaway. Probably one of my Deathlagger figures. Keep the other one for myself. Give one to a fan. Maybe I'll sign it or something. That'd be kind of cool. Some other things too. Maybe I'll have to think about what else I would give away, but just to show some love for the fans. So again, hope you enjoyed. I'm Poji Force. This is my hat, and you have yourself a good day.